Hi, it's your girl Liv Miller. Thank you for stopping by. Today we are going to be talking about mermaid skirts with a detachable godet. Like you can see on the screen, these are different mermaid skirts with godets. So if it is something you would want to learn, stay with me. This is our lining, our duchess, our lace fabric, hip cuff, straight rule, our scissors, our chalk, measurements, tape rule. Let's go. So I'll go ahead and fold the fabric into two, folding into two, putting in consideration how wide I would want the down part to be. The wideness is as desired depending on the quantity of fabric you have. Okay, so what I want to do now is my hip divided by 4. I'll add extra 10 inches. Okay, you can do more than 10, you can do less than 10 depending on the quantity of fabric you have at hand. Okay, and you could ask, why am I making use of the duchess instead of the lace? You know, the your duchess is far much affordable to the lace fabric, and at times even if the lace is cheap, you might not see the exact lace easily. So it's always safer you cut with either your duchess or your lining. Your what you are lining it, the first layer after the lace. It's not a must you use a duchess. You could use a satin, your mikado, depending on what you have available. But this is what my client wants. So to be on a safer side, it's best to make use of any of the other materials and not the lace when drafting. Okay, so I'll go ahead and arrange it properly, making sure I have the desired wideness. So I've gotten the desired wideness, my hip divided by 4 plus 10 inches. Now I'm going to place my measurement. The length I'm working with is 62, but I'm going to add extra 4, making it 66. Okay, so watch what I'm doing. My foot tape, then I removed that point is 18, which is my half length. So from the 18 now, I'm now going to measure to see what I have. So this is the length I'll be working for my skirts. So it's 66 minus 18. That is what I'm placing now. I'll make a mark at the 2 points as shown. Then connect with my straight rule to form a straight line. So that is it. Let me cross check and be sure the length is okay. Okay, after which from that start line, I'm going to place my hip line. I'm working with a hip line of 9 inches, and I'll equally place my knee length. My knee length is 21. It's actually 23 and I came up by 3. It's 23, I came up by 2, then I have 21. I'm making the mark at 21, then I'll connect with my straight rule. So let's label all the points. This is W for waist, hip line, H, then K for knee line. This is my full length over there. So I didn't know my camera wasn't recording. What I did here is waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, 2 inches sewing allowance. Then on the hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Now for the knee opening, it could be done in so many ways. You could measure it, or you measure everything you have in your hip here, then place it on your knee and minus 2 inches, because this material is not stretching. If it's a stretching material, you could go deeper. Remember, the deeper, the finer. Then I used my hip cuff, connected from the waist to my hip line. Okay, then flipped it over this way, connected from the hip to my knee line as shown. Okay, then I used my straight rule from my knee line and connected to my opening. It's not easy, it's a shaky material, so you need to be careful when doing it. Let me cross check to see my fabric has not shifted. Okay, I still have my hip divided by 4 plus 10 inches. So let's cut out. If you're confused in any way, ask question on the comment section. So this is what we have. Then I brought the remaining fabric, fold it into two. I'm trying to cut out my back panel now. So I brought my front, folded it into two. Watch what I'm doing. I'm going to arrange it and make sure everything is aligning. Front folded into two on top of a material that is folded into two as well. But for the back panel, remember it to be having a zipper at the back, and I want to work with 2 inches zipper allowance. You could make use of 1.5 depending on what you want. But for this project, I'm working with 2 inches. Yes, so that is my zipper allowance, 2 inches. I'm trying to trace out the line, the hip line and the knee line. Okay, because it's going to help me as the back will be having a godet. Okay, so I'm trying to rule out my zipper allowance. This is my zipper allowance, and at the knee line I came up by 1 inch. Sorry. Okay, so watch what I'm going to do now. I'll hold the 1 inch like this. Did you see what I did? Just pay close attention, because this part, if you do it this way, it gives a special fitting. Okay, before I do that, let me cut out this other part. Watch, the waist area will align with the front. Okay, this other side will equally align. So back to the zipper area, let me make a notch at the zipper allowance. Okay, remember we came up by 1 inch from the knee line. I'm going to open it. Hope you can see the line. Let me extend the line, the 1 inch I came up with here. Then I'll open the zipper allowance to that 1 inch. Okay, then leave it. See what I'm going to do. I'm holding the front. See, don't attach anything to that back. It's going to have a detachable godet. Okay, so instead of adding any triangular thing or going straight, see how I went. I'm cutting out a little triangle instead from this side. You know, if you're cutting together, here it's going to have an extended triangle at that part, but because the godet is cut separate, so this is what I did. I cut out a little triangle instead of adding to it. This gives special effects. Don't worry, you will see it after we are done coupling. So I'm done cutting. Let me lift the front. So this is what we'll have for the back. So when sewing, I'm just going to sew through this way. That's attach the attachable godets from this half of an inch all the way down. Don't worry, you will see that. It's time to cut out our detachable godet. See what I did? I folded my fabric in a triangular form. I didn't know the camera is not capturing my lifting. Just fold your fabric in a triangular form as shown. Can you see what I did? So I'm going to hold down this pointy parts. See where I'm placing it at, that's 1 inch above the knee line. So I'm going to carefully secure it using my safety pin. Sorry, that's my office pin. You know, this is a shaky material, so it's not just staying on its own. That's why I'm trying to make use of a pin to hold it down. It's stressful. Seriously, it's stressful. Whenever you're making a godet with a material that is not too thick, it's always stressful. But we are going to conquer after all. That's why we are the designers, adventurers. Okay, we don't give up. So I'm going to secure it. Remember, like I said, I am open to answer your questions. If you have suggestions, it's welcomed. Do well to say so on the comment section. I believe watching to this point, you must have subscribed to this channel. You must have given the video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up so that other people can see it. Okay, so I've gone ahead to secure it. I'll straight it out, open out everything properly. You just have to be patient at this point. Sorry, my pin didn't hold there, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to secure it properly. Okay, just have to be patient. Don't rush because you're almost done with your cutting. So why the rush? So I'm going to cut it out. You are going to watch what I'm going to do. Then when I'm done cutting, I'm going to use this our Duchess fabric just exactly as I cut it here to cut out on both my lining and my lace fabric. The only difference is my lace is going to be longer than this with maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 inches. I will determine that when it's time. So the next thing you're going to do is make sure that edges are aligning. Did you see what I did? Then you curve it out. There is no special way to do this. Just try to be creative. You have to determine how long. Sorry, I didn't know that part was not showing in the camera. How long you want it. Do you want some persons can go as long as making it 10 inches longer, 8 inches, 12, 15, even 20, depending on how you want it to flow. But my client doesn't want it to flow much, so I went down there by 5 inches. Okay, let me adjust my camera. Can you see what I have there? So the godet is longer than the outfit by 4 inches. You could go down more. Okay, can you see this is now 5 inches? And the shape you will give it is dependent on you. Just be creative at this point. Did you see another shape I brought out? It depends on what you want. Just carefully carve out your hand and make sure that point attached to the hemline is rhyming. Can you see? This other point is 5. The other one is 4. I will work with the 4 inches. She doesn't just want it to flow down much. She doesn't want the disturbance. So watch out carefully how I'm going to cut it out. When I'm done, I will go and replicate it exactly the way it is on the Duchess in the lining I showed you earlier and the lace fabric. Bring it back to show you. Then we proceed to the sewing process. It won't take time. Just in a jiffy, we are done. So this is what we have. Can you see the shape? Look at it. If you notice you don't like anything, you can still trim it out. I don't like that part that is pushing. I'll just watch. I'll just trim it out. Make sure you get something interesting, something nice, something you would love. And you're good to go. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So this is it. I think I like this better. I like this better. So this is it. Okay, so I'm going to cut the rest, the lining and the lace off camera, bring it back, then we'll couple it together. Okay, thanks for watching to this point. Give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share, and don't give up. So this is our lace. I'll be cutting on the lace and equally the lining. Okay, so that is it. The only part I won't be lining is the godet. The godet won't have a lining. I went ahead to cut out the lace. So this is the front panel for the lace. I used the Duchess. This is my lining. Okay, the lining is shorter than my Duchess, which I showed you earlier how to cut. So I used that to cut the other two. I equally did same. This is the back panel. This is the lining for this. And of course, the Duchess. Okay. So this is the second part of the back panel, the lining and the Duchess. Okay. So this is how, let me place the the back. This is the godet. Can you see it? So this is the godet, and that is where we're going to be attaching it to. Okay, so this is what we'll have. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to get my front panel. This is my Duchess. Spread it out. Then get the lace. Spread it on top of the Duchess material. Here you can use any gum you have, but this is the gum I have. You can equally use your hemming gum. I'm going to use my gum. You have to arrange it properly. Make sure it's aligning. Then get your gum and dab it a little as shown. Then place the lace on top of it. The lace will automatically stick to the other material you have below. Yes, so that is what we are going to do now for the front and the back. Just watch me closely. If you are confused in anywhere, ask questions. If you have a suggestion, say so on the comment section. So as I've held the two materials together, I left a little. I didn't get to this part. You're going to see why you shouldn't. This side equally, I didn't come to that part. Did you see that? I'm going to show you why you shouldn't get to that part. So now that I've secured it, we are going to go over to the sewing machine. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the lining and place it this way on the good side of the lace. Then I will sew by the side with 1/2 inch. Okay, watch why I said you shouldn't. When I get to that point, I'm going to put the lace inside this way and continue my sewing. Okay, I'm going to keep pushing the lace inside, then I'll continue sewing. Watch me push the lace inside and sew both the lining and the Duchess. Then when I get to that point, I'll now introduce the lace back and sew it all the way down to the waistline. So I've gone ahead to sew it like I told us. The only thing I didn't tell you is about the darts. See how I head the darts. I head the darts for the lining separately. Then for the lace and the Duchess, I head them together. You know how we'll make our darts? See the sewing the way I told us. Okay, I sewed with 1/2 inch. So the next thing is you put your hand on the inside and turn everything out. Turn it out such that the good side will be facing upwards while the wrong side stays on the inside. We are not using inseam finishing here. My client is in a different state and she's a breastfeeding mother. She has a tendency of adding weight, so I'm using this method to make it easy in case she would want to adjust. Can you see what I told you? Can you see? Can you see the lace is longer? That is why you're not supposed to gum. When you're attaching the Duchess using your gum, you're not supposed to get to the finishing part of the lace so that it will be this way. So you can see what we'll have. You can see what we'll have. So I'm going to hold the waist. Let's set this aside. So for the back, I've gone ahead to use my gum to stick the Duchess to the lining. So the next thing we are going to be sewing in is firstly the godet. Before I introduce the lining, I need to sew the godet to one side of the back panel and then to the other side. Okay, let me shift it a little further. So I'm going to sew starting from there. You know that point, this point the arrow is touching. Where the arrow is pointing is where the godet is going to start from and end at the hem. So I'm going to attach it first before introducing the lining. You see how I'm arranging it? So I will sew this way down and the other way. Yes, so that is what I'm going to do. Then I'll bring it back to show you. Don't forget, I'll flip it this way, good side facing good side. I will sew down with half an inch. Okay, down with half an inch. Then I'll do same for the other side too. I'll do face good side facing each other. Then I'll sew down with half an inch. So that's what I'm going to do for the two of them. So I've gone ahead to attach it like I told us, and this is what we have. This is what we have. I've attached the goddess, so you look at it now. If you think you don't like the shape, and trim off any parts you don't like. I'm going to be introducing this edge, the lace edge. I cut it out from the lace. I'm going to be sewing it on this part of the goddess all the way round. I'm going to cut enough such that it can go round in all the edges of the goddess. Yes. So this is the wrong side. Let me turn over to the wrong side. Can you see where I attached the godet? So I'm going to introduce the lining. I told you the godet won't be having a lining, so I'm going to introduce a lining that will pass on the both sides of the back panel. And can you see what? So it's more like I'm going to sew this way. Can you see what I'm doing? Then flip and sew the other way. I'm equally going to do same on the other side too. At the end of the day, you're not going to see the rough edges of my sewing. I'll do that and get back to you. So I've gone ahead to join the stuffs like I told you. See my lining. I've joined the back lining. Can you see this? The zipper area. Can you see what I have? Did you see how everything is looking on it? Like I told you, my client is a breastfeeding mother, so I didn't use instant finishings. She keep me, she keep adding and reducing, and we are in different states. So to make it easier for this designer that will amend it if need be, I'm using this method. Can you see my goddess? Oh my god. The goddess is goddessing. Guys, this is a game changer. You need to try this out. You need to try this out. The outcome is superb. So you need to try it out. If you have a question, do what to ask on the comment section. If you have a suggestion, it is welcome. If you're going to be trying it out, try it out. You can try it out. Come to me on WhatsApp or Instagram and show me what you're able to do. Okay, so see the godet area. Can you see the godet sitting all pretty full? If you can remember during our drafting, that triangle I cut out from the center back. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the finished work. I equally attached my lace trimmings, the way I told you, on the godet area. Can you see I finished it up with attaching the lace trimmings? Can you see how I sewed it? Can you see my thread? It's a matching thread. You might not see it, but just the way I explained, I did it that way. Okay. So next, I will be fitting it. Know how to fit your outfit. Bring your front, match the front and the back panel, and close up the both side seams. Okay, you are going to do this using your measurements, the measurements you're working with. So you're going to close up this side from the waist all the way to the hem, and do same on the other side from the waist all the way to the hem. So I'm going to do this right now. There is no particular figure I'll tell you. I'm going to work with the measurement I have. So this is it on the mannequin after fitting. Oh my god, camera is just not doing justice to this effect. Camera is not doing justice. When I send this outfit down to my clients, I'm going to do a video of it and post it on my short. You need to see it, man. You have to cut your mermaid gown. Your mermaid bead gown was cut this way. Yes, I've not finished the waistline because it's going to be coming with an inbuilt corset. So I'm yet to finish with the inbuilt corset, which is the upper part. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Have a nice day. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.